you're driving through the country on a lazy afternoon, or you're watching your children playing after school, they seem to be so unaware of, I know, the things that they'll soon have to take care of. We've got to do something, yeah, to save the children. Soon it will be their turns to try and save the world. Right now they seem to play such a small part of the things that they'll soon be right at the heart of. My little Tommy, he said he wants to be a fireman. And little Mary, she said she got to teach school. If
we're tired of it.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be the most prestigious award show out of all of them, the Grammys. And while we're on the Grammys, we got another one coming up later this month called the NAACP Image Awards that does practically the same thing with their rap category, their hip-hop music categories, disrespecting our people. So they need to be checked.
Can you be specific on some of the artists that have been nominated for a Grammy, and what songs are there is being pushed?
Like there's a song called F-U-C-K-N-I-G-G-A, Free, by a sister named Glorilla, a young sister out of Memphis. And the song is horrible. I mean, the sisters are in a parking lot, twerking, pouring hard liquor down each other's throats. Some sisters are pregnant, and it's just disrespectful. And you nominate that for a Grammy? You know? And so the Grammys are culpable on this. I think about Future. We call him No Future. He's nominated for a song along with Gunna and Young Thug, Young Slug we call it. And early in 2022, they got indicted on RICO charges, Gunna and Young Thug. So the Grammys, the Recording Academy had all year pretty much to know that they were indicted. Yet still, they're going to nominate them for not one, but 2 Grammys. Also in that song, Future, who did not get indicted, but he says in that song, "I cop new hammers for my peace, we don't want no peace." We've had almost over 10,000 Africans murdered in 2021, and early in 2022 he has a song out where he's saying that we don't want no peace. So the Grammys should be ashamed of themselves. And early in the year, even Saturday Night Live had that performance live, telling the whole country on Saturday Night Live. Give me the percentage. You know about the percentages, we talked about them a couple times. The percentage of music that you and your peers listen to that dropped the N-bomb. Give me about 3 or 4 hands and I'll get questions, answers to that. 1, 2, 3. First 3 I saw. Okay, what's the percentage that dropped the N-bomb?
Like
80%. 80%, what do you say?
Like probably 85.
85, and back here?
95.
95. 80, 85, 95. That's the N-bomb. That word we ain't supposed to use. The most despicable, disgusting, dangerous, dehumanizing word in the history of English or any other language is that N-bomb. The N-bomb opens the portal to all this other stuff we're going to see in a little bit. Using that word, calling oneself that. We are not that. Don't call yourself that. Don't call your people that. Is the word in history? Is it in song? Yes. But it's not something we should be calling each other. All right? Second question. I need 3 different hands. The percentage of music that you and your peers listen to that refer to our mamas, our sisters, our daughters, our aunties, our grandmothers as B's and H's. 1, 2, and 3. 3 brothers asked that one. Okay. What percentage?
90.
90?
75.
75. Okay. Back here.
94.
94. Okay. Percentage again. That's the music that we listen to, where our sisters, our daughters, our mamas, our grandmothers, our girlfriends, our wives are called B's and H's in the music. And again, these numbers are kind of similar to what I've been getting. Okay, here's the last question we asked in the survey. The percentage of music that you and your peers listen to that brags about and encourages the shooting and killing of black people in the music. People who didn't answer the question. Okay, I'll get your nephew and I was looking over here. Who's first over here? She was? Okay. And you, okay, go ahead.
Say
You gotta speak up.
85.
About 85,
Maybe like 96.
96, 94, 96. Okay, that'll give us a even number, right on our, maybe odd number 2, but it's divided by 5. Okay, we got one?
90?
You say 90? Oh, we don't really need to go through this then. Mm-hmm. But we are gonna go through it because, I don't know, it's crazy. Okay.
All right, greetings, Brother Kwabena. Greetings, welcome to the Black Health Report. And I'm really excited about you guys asking me to host this year, this section. You're going to be dealing with the 100 Malcolm X lecture series, right? Part 1?
Well, the part 1 is just the topic. It's part 1 of rap fatigue, pretty much.
Okay.
But part 1 of that, do part 2. I'll mention that earlier where we're going to do part 2 at. No, this is we're almost wrapping up the Malcolm X lecture series. We're at the 11th month of 2025. We're wrapping up the 11th month. So yeah, we got one more month, one more lecture series after this.
Okay, good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in store. We're about to, matter of fact, before we even get started, I know there's a few things happening today. I know that there's this day, there's 2 major things, and I should know the other one. There was a revolution that was overthrown in, was it Barbados? If I'm not mistaken, I need to really double check that. And this was the day of their freedom. And so I'm gonna pull that up and we take a little break because but I know it's also Shirley Chisholm's birthday as well today. Okay. So we want to say happy birthday to her. But I know somewhere in the islands this day was a victory day, and I shouldn't know that. I'm having a mental block on that, where they actually got their freedom from the colonialists. So I want to pull that up. But before we get going, brother, is there anything you want to say before we get into what we're getting into? Like, what is actually, when you're talking about the fatigueness that's going on in rap, well, what is rap fatigue? Well, what is that? What are they talking about?
People are tired, fatigued. When you're tired, they're tired of the repetitiveness of the content of this ratchet music. Yeah, we're gonna get off into that. They're tired of it. I mean, we've been tired of it. We've been dealing with it. But
when you told me that, when you said rap fatigue, I was thinking, well, maybe it's something more to it. But it basically what it is. It's like people are tired, and I was tired of it really the first few minutes of the kind of stuff that they're playing right now. And so let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and get into this video. I know who are we dedicating this video to?
Oh yeah, this month's lecture series is dedicated to Imam Jamil Al-Amin, also known as H. Rap Brown, the home brother from Baton Rouge, African from Baton Rouge. That was no joke. He made transition on the 23rd, and we just want to give him some love. And like so many others have been doing, we're gonna talk about a little bit more. But yeah, this clip is about him taking us back with that bad brother. Okay, he's a bad man, like Kwame said.
Let's go ahead and pull him up and bring his spirit into us right now. Go ahead and get it going.
Unlike America would have us believe, the greatest problem confronting this country today is not pollution and bad breath. One of the lies that we tell ourselves is that we are making progress. But Huey's chair is empty. We're not making progress. We tend to equate progress with concessions. We can no longer make that mistake. You see, when they gave us that astronaut, you say we were making progress, but I told you they were going to lose him in space. He didn't get that far. You put Adam Powell in office and you couldn't keep him. What you think they're going to do with Thurgood Marshall when they get tired of him? They gave you Walter Washington of Washington, D.C., and you said we were making progress. That's not progress. See, it's no in-between. You're either free or you're a slave. There's no such thing as second-class citizenship. But a lot of you running around talking about you Democrats, and the Democrats got you in the biggest trick going. They tell you it ain't our fault, it's the Dixiecrats. There's no such thing as a Dixiecrat. The only difference between George Wallace and Lyndon Johnson is one of them's wife got cancer. That's the only difference.
You got a man. You're going this way. You got a man. You driving? Yeah. You want to ride home as well?
Let them get it. We want to see, we want them to know you.
Everybody wants to
know it.
Cracker stood up and said, what the hell are you waiting on? Why not take my picture? I look better than Stokely Carmichael, and I'm white on top of it.
Yes, sir. I read an article sent you just 2 days ago in the Alabama Journal, and I said, the whole heap of go with him.
Right.
All of it. The doors stand where you can open.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know that.
Not sometimes.
You're coming to Greensboro
It has been.
We got to come to Hale County. We will come to all these counties in Alabama.
I don't know. You know, we're a small county over there, and I don't know whether
but you got a lot of black people there.
Yeah,
They should have
71%.
Oh, that county is ours, lock, stock, and
All
barrel.
right,
It's
then.
we 71%. You know that county is ours, lock, stock, and barrel.
And we have meetings every Monday night, and so we just, Jose was there Monday night before last. I mean, being Clark came in his place, and T.Y.'s down pretty often. But I mean, we need the one big push right in here, you know.
You need black power.
That's right. Absolutely. And so now,
Get you some young men who are not afraid of anything, whether he wears a sheet or a badge. Right? That's what you need.
There's been some charges by the defendants that your attorney's using trick photography. How do you feel about this?
I don't think they're using trick photography. All of the people admit that the photography is real. The captain said the photography represented the accurate position. They're using trick justice. But they've used that all their life.
How do you feel things will go for you in circuit court if the decision is upheld here on the inciting to riot law?
Don't know. I don't really care one way or the other, to tell you the truth. Inside or outside, you're still in jail in this country if you're black.
You don't think justice is fair to Negroes here?
Oh, be serious.
Why do you have a white attorney representing you?
Oh, I have any attorney representing me.
You don't feel that a black attorney would be superior?
Not because he was black. He might be superior because he's better.
But
he's inferior now because he's oppressed.
You don't feel that a Negro attorney could do as much for you as a white man?
Oh, a black attorney can do a lot more. Yeah, certainly. You can identify with me. Yes, yes. But in Alabama, you see, they've oppressed all the black attorneys. We've got to get a new cadre of young black attorneys who are not afraid of anybody. Okay.
yes. Well, I guess we could go to dinner. Oh, can we get there? No, baby.
It's ready to That's all right. Okay. You got yeah, you got to come. Hi, how do you do, man? What's your name? George Spring, my name is Stokely Carmichael. My pleasure to meet you. Should be cool. That's right, get these guys. Yeah.
Both of
Got to get the power back.
yeah, and the walls came tumbling down.
Yeah.
That's where to go.
I think it's up by the post office. So we should.
Well, I gotta check the mail anyway, so you're gonna walk up there.
All right, I'll walk on up with you. You gonna give me protection?
From what? You Stokely Carmine.
My brothers one by one, two by two, and I see you still. Oh yeah, now see, I'm sure my days will be long and my nights won't be few. Through the visions that's in me, I can see clearly where there is gonna be peace, love and harmony, black understanding among my people. Gonna jump and shout, Black Liberation Day. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout, divine understanding Day. Oh yes.
Whoa. Well, as the intro into what we're dealing with right now, it's good to see Brother Kwame and Brother Imam, Jamil, together. I had never seen that footage until a couple of days ago, and so that was just real good seeing them. So, what's
I
your
love it,
thoughts
man,
on that when you see that?
Just love it, man. Just love the love, and just human people, just people. About the people. We know both them brothers had undying love for our people, and that's one of the things that they express at the rally, the Free Yui rally, which we showed brother Abdullah Alameen speaking. That was at a Free Yui rally, and they did those in Oakland and also at the Sports Arena, I think, in Los Angeles too.
Yeah. So when it comes down to the title, when you said one's enemy controls another one's culture, what are we speaking of?
But if I can, I want to say something else about that footage too.
Go ahead.
So, as you said, I hadn't seen that footage either until after our brother made transition. Imam Jamil made transition, but I looked up that Melvin C. Hines. I wanted to see where they were. That was on the building and behind them, and that was a furniture company in Alabama. So I did note that. And when they were speaking, it was at a Free Yui rally, and it's really cool, man. You see James Foreman, Bunchy Carter. You see again, brother Rap, Kwame, brother Carmichael there, Bobby Seale, and also Chico Neblett. They're all there on the dais during that program, and it's interesting because I would always say for so long that that's going back to '68, and half of those brothers on that dais are still with us. I would say Brother Rap, Brother Imam Jamil, Brother Chico Neblett. He's living in Ghana right now. He was still alive, and of course Bobby Seale. Those brothers are still with us, and the other three have made transitions. So I always note that. And now I think about Brother Imam being gone, and he I don't know, I was just out here at the Bayou Classic in Louisiana, and I was hoping they would give a moment of silence to talk about him because he's from Baton Rouge, a former Southern University student, and I'm not sure if they did or not. But there's so many good pieces that are out right now on him, and so much footage and interviews that we hear him speaking, and just how eloquent he is, and then also his evolution, how he came from. How he, we talk about Malcolm's evolution, but Imam Jamil's evolution when he became a Muslim after joining the Muslim faith when he was locked up in New York, and just came out, just a dynamite brother, just a peaceful brother, spiritual brother. But when I say peaceful, I mean like making his community peaceful. The West End of Atlanta. People talk about how he cleaned that up. He cleaned it
Mm.
up. And so there's a piece that Imam Jamil did on, I think it was a Black Talk Radio. Brother JR did a really good interview where he was talking about Malcolm. The whole thing was dedicated to dealing with it was Imam Jamil, on Malcolm X, and he just talked about how he had gone through and lived a certain level of struggle and a certain kind of example in terms that he could articulate it, in which he did articulate. He worked on his skills like anyone else, anyone else who does anything well. They work on their skills. And so that's what he did. And that's what he talks about when he was talking about Malcolm and how Malcolm related to the people. And when you think about that and you think about rap, I mean, and we're about to get off into this rap fatigue piece, but he's given a lot of credit for the whole genre of rap and how it came out because of his cadence and how he spoke and how eloquent he was, and also how clever he was when he talked. And so he's given a lot of credit uh, in terms of this genre of music. Now, where it's gone to right now, and you were going to ask that question, but I'll let you ask it. But just want to lead into that with brother Rap, and also wanted to talk about the whole lecture series too, even before if I can, before we get into the thing about rap fatigue.
Mhm.
So just let me say a few things about the lecture series on Malcolm and the historical significance of Malcolm X in the U.S. and the world. And we've been doing this lecture series since '99. Actually started it in '99, but I live in Gary, Indiana, and so we really struggle. I was with some brothers. We were with this group called New Roots, and we were sitting in my living room. And these brothers from Gary. I'm not from Gary. I was born in L.A. and came up from Louisiana when I got out of school. And these brothers went to school with me at Southern University. Speaking of Rat Brown again and SU, brother AG, we would call him Kalanji, and brother Adiami, and we're sitting in the house, and they were working on the paperwork for New Roots. And I said, we need to get a street name after Malcolm X here in Gary. Gary's a chocolate city, 90% black. Let's make this happen. And I said, man, this is a no-brainer, man. It's gonna happen. And both of them brothers pretty much said in unison, you don't know Gary. They're from Gary. He said, you don't know Gary. So, we got to petition. Brother Trent, it was an attorney, he helped get it together. And it took us 22 years, brother, to get a street named in honor of Malcolm X. 22 years. We started this in 2000 and again in the chocolate city. But what was significant, there's another connection with these brothers, is there was a dude named James Craig that was the zoning or planning director. I always have to go to him with the petition and trying to get the hearings. I have to go meet with him, and he would. I don't know how many times he said this, but he would always say he was against it. He fought against. He just did all kind of crazy stuff to try to fight it. Uh, we should name those streets after people like Malcolm X or H. Rap Brown. He'd always bring up H. Rap Brown was his other example. I would be like, man, what is this thing with H. Rap Brown, man? I know our brother was, he'd always bring him up. And I would just be shaking my head. But we finally made that happen. And the people with the Malcolm X petition, and we had over 4,000 signatures, bro. Over 4,000 signatures in Gary of people who signed this petition. And I'm gonna tell you, if we asked 10 people to sign it, 8 of them signed it right away. There was no problem with the people. And out of those 8, one person was probably against it, and the other person may have been on paper, so he didn't want nobody to know his address, so he or she, and so they, but it was overwhelmingly the people were for this. And so we will work with a group called the Central District Organizing Project, later Black Lives Matter, Gary, Black Lives Matter Grassroots Gary, UAM, and we'd have birthday parties for Malcolm. Even before that, birthday parties for Malcolm every year on May 19th, and just pretty much every year. And so this finally we said, let's go get these petitions done again. There was going to be a change in administration, so we said before we have the party and the ice cream and whatever, let's go out on the street again and get the petitions signed. And we did that, and we came back to the administration who was about to go out, Karen Freeman Wilson administration, and they okayed it, and we had some more hearings, and it got passed, and we finally made it happen. So we continue to have the parties. And on the 99th birthday of Brother Malcolm, we said, we talked about, hey, next year, when it's 100, 2025, we're gonna do this lecture series. And I remember Sister Ludine was like, what are we waiting on? Let's get it started now. So, I want to just do a summary because we're pretty much done with the lecture series. Just want to do a summary of what we've had and what we've done. So we kicked this off in July of 2024. Our brother Salim Abdul Khalid, I can't think of the brother's name, but he brought this brother up from Atlanta who spoke. Oh no, he was a Muslim brother. He spoke on Islam, and but then we went again in August of 24. We had Cam Howard came in, and Cam Howard works within Cobra and Reparations United, and he talked about gave us an update on what's happening with reparations, and that was right before this current administration got back in. So it was pretty interesting piece. In September, Brother Robert Campbell is a Black Panther veteran of the Illinois chapter, rank and file member. He talked about Malcolm's influence on youngsters, on young revolutionaries back in the day. Really good piece. In October, our brother Salim, I mentioned him earlier, Salim Abdul Khalid, he's from the Flaming Crescent Society, and it was late October, so he was dealing with this election that was coming up in early November. So he talked about, the ballot of the bullet. We'll come back to that too. In November, we had Sister Akila Shakur. That's our comrade from Saving Our Families, and also Black Lives Matter Grassroots Gary. She talked about political prisoners, and she's the wife of Brother Shaka Shakur, who's a political prisoner who was politicized once he got locked up. And she makes that, we got to not make the distinction, but she makes us, has us to understand that all the political prisoners aren't just political prisoners who were freedom fighters when they were out. A lot of people go to prison, and that's one of the things that Imam Jamil Al-Amin talked about too. When you check out some of his writings and some of his lectures, how he says these prisons and these jails, they're like classrooms. They're classrooms that you can never get out of. Well, you can get out of eventually, but you ain't going home every day. But pretty much, but he said, use them as a classroom if you got to get locked up in there. And so a lot of our people are political prisoners. They get again politicized once they get locked up. They go in sometime for some lumping, petty crimes or whatever type of crimes. But and Shaka was one of those, and there's many others. We will mention his brother Zolo a little later. He was one. George Jackson was one. Rochelle McGee. These were political prisoners who again, got awakened when they were locked up. So that was in October of 24. Then I'm sorry, November 24. And then, we got this phenomenon, man, that's happening all over this country with our children fighting so much. And Malcolm talked about that. He said, well, who taught you to hate yourself? We know it's hate. So we had Dr. Obari Adeye Cartman came through in December, and he dealt with that, man, for the psychologist. And so that was a good piece. In January 25, my sister Tony Washington Simpson, who's an artist and an artist, she had the biggest program we've had, on these lectures. She had a production, and she wanted to reimagine Bandung, the Bandung conference of, I think it was 1955, 56, right around in the mid 50s, that took place. It was in Bandung, I think it's in Indonesia, and where the non-aligned nations came together, and we wanted to talk about peace, and so that was a really good piece that she did. Professor Hunter Adams, Why You Left Your Mind in Africa. This brother studies neuroscience and bad dude. He's a veteran. But he had some interesting things to say about slavery, talking about us not ever being slaves, and he break down the word and all that too. But that was a good piece, Dr. Adams. And then in March we had Sister Africa Porter. Africa is call her the Queen of Bronzeville in Chicago, but I think she's Hyde Park, I should say, but it might as well say Bronzeville and all of Chicago. Good sister, daughter of Reverend Porter, Dr. Porter, has a great legacy, and she gave us an update on what's going on with our sisters. Malcolm would talk about how the Black women are the most disrespected, the worst treated of all the people, and Sister Africa came in and rapped with us, and then in April we did April 12th. We had Brother Malik Yakini out of Detroit come through, and that was significant because April 12th is the day that Malcolm delivered the Ballad of Bullet speech in Detroit in 1964, and that speech, he really talked about controlling the businesses in your own community. And Brother Yakini was one of the key people in putting together the People's Food Co-op. So if you go to Detroit, you got to check out the People's Food Co-op. If you live in Detroit, you need to shop at the People's Food Co-op. Beautiful restaurant, beautiful grocery store. It's been open about a year and a half now. And Brother Malik came through Gary and gave us some stuff we really need to hear about co-ops and the work they did in putting that co-op together. So May, of course, it was celebration of Malcolm, May 19th, and we participated in that. That pretty much we had our own program. It was a great program at Malcolm X College over in Chicago, which is another thing that you should check out if you come to Chicago. They did Malcolm Righteous with that college. His name is right by the United Center where the Blackhawks and the Bulls play, but they did it in Righteous. So go check out Malcolm X College if you get a chance. We're gonna try to hoping to do our last program there. We're still trying to work with them. June. I mentioned Zolo earlier, and Brother Jasil and others. We got together and talked about what's happening in the Sahel, what's happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, and this new this phenomenon in Africa of kicking out the colonists and people controlling their own resources, of which Brother Malcolm talked about, so many others talked about. So that's happening right now. So we had a good wrap on that. July, I don't know why July is escaping me. We're almost wrapping up. I just want the people to summarize what we've done. And in August, we had Clyde Banks. Clyde Banks is one of the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association leaders out of Chicago. And he was our main speaker at our Black August program. He delivered the Malcolm X lecture then. And of course, he talked about that connection with Garvey and Malcolm's parents being Garveyites and, the ideas of that, that bad brother. So that was a good piece from Brother Clyde came through. September, we did a tribute to Assata Shakur. And, we think about Brother Imam Jamil leaving us. Sister Cleo, what's Cleo's last name? Cleo, she works with the Brown Berets, also, I think the Puerto Rican revolutionary group, and also the Black Panthers. She was a Cleo Silver. So she transitioned also. But yeah, we did a good piece on Assata, had a good discussion about her and her contribution. And we listened to some of her excerpts and had some young folks with us. That was a powerful piece. October, we tried to get Dr. Kamal Rashid earlier, but we kept running into issues getting him, but we got him in October. And this is a brother, he works with ASCAT and Capoeira expert, just a bad brother too. And he spoke again on Malcolm's connection to the Mama Land. And Brother Kamal, gotta give it up for him. Every day this year, he's sharing a quote from Malcolm. I remember trying to do that just in February with with sharing just some books or certain quotes or certain just for 1 month. And this dude is consistently doing this every day. So shout out our brother. And here we are in November. Again, we want to deal with this piece of on this music. And I'll mention before we leave, I'll make sure I mention what we're going to do on the finale of this lecture series. But here we are in November, brother. And I know you'd asked the question, Brother Thabiti, and we really appreciate you, the Black Health Report, man, for putting this together, because this is our first one that's actually just strictly on Zoom, strictly online. So, but I just want to give people again just a rundown of what we did and what this was about and what it continues to be about and what it needs to continue to be about. We have to continue to uplift and honor our freedom fighters. And Malcolm was indeed, par excellence, and Brother Imam Jamil. So, yeah.
My question to you, like I was saying, when you were talking about enemy controlling the media, and can you kind of elaborate on that? I mean, we kind of know that the media does control us, and we don't have control over the media. So how is that affecting us? How has that been affecting our communities and through media, whether it's music, whether it's film, etc.?
It's really sad that we don't listen to our scholars, our educators, our people who've done the work. I remember, again, going back to Southern University, and Dolores Spikes was our chancellor. I don't know if she gave everybody a copy no, I don't think she gave everybody a copy, but she really highlighted the miseducation of the Negro from Carter G. Woodson one year at the convocation. And I think about his book when he talked about the programming that they put us through and what have you. And I know you're going to share got Malcolm's quote. We talked about that, but I mean, they got us so controlled, making us go out this back door that when the back door is not even there, we go cut the back door out and still so we can go out that back door still, and it's backwards. I think about you know them controlling us so much now that we do the work for them. And you and I and others, we were at the former crypto arena a couple years ago, demonstrating at the Grammys, and it's even like we got to struggle with the NAACP doing these same old things, nominating these same kill black people songs, nominating this madness for awards, NAACP Image Awards. I think that's even worse than when they do it for the Grammys. But if we had control of our culture, it'd be a lot different. It was in the mid 70s or I think it was maybe in 76 when there was a mandate to start taking some of these radio stations again, make sure that black folks had control over some of these radio stations, these media outlets, and we got a lot more stations. However, I think the thing we only had to keep them for like 2 or 3 years or something like that. Well, a lot of us sold the stations instead of keeping them, instead of having control over the music and the media and the news that's being pushed to the masses of your people. They went for the profit, they went for the money and sold the stations, and that was a problem. That was a major problem, and so we had less control over our images or what's put out there about us. And so when we don't control our image, we get what we got. We get what we're getting right now. And I can give some examples of that. And one of the examples we think about is the radio stations. With Clear the Airways Project, one of the things that we do is we struggle with these radio stations, these kill black people radio stations. Is pretty much what they are. They're ratchet radio stations and the people who control them are basically grown violent audio pedophiles is what they are, because they target our children with this madness. Sister Fia, who was one of the comrades of Brother Rat Brown and Kwame that you showed out of Malcolm X Radio in Greenville, South Carolina, we were out there speaking at Malcolm X Day several years ago, and we talked about how we have the second or third largest concentration of African people in the U.S. in the Chicago area, and there's only the 2 radio stations that target our children are owned by white folks. They own the radio stations. One of them is iHeart. We call them No Heart, and the other one is a Crawford station. And iHeart has at least 28 radio stations around the country. Last count I did, 28 radio stations around the country that play this crap to African children, African youth, all around the U.S., controlling our culture. Music is culture. We know culture as a people's way of life. And music is the most important part of one of the most important parts of our culture.
And I know we've done programs before, or we've done events where you were going into a lot of the artists that have been nominated for Grammys. I know we had even demonstrated down at the Grammys a couple times. Is there anything that you can let us know, some updates of some things that are going on right now? Because I think that we've done enough. We've done enough shows on that to where people can always go back and see the music that our youth are listening to, what the lyrics are about, what they're actually saying, and it really blows me away that how many parents and grandparents don't even know what's in their child or their grandchild's earphones. Don't even have any idea that they're talking about, when you're talking about murder music, talking about killing each other and all that. And that's just going around in your head and you're just playing that over and over and over again. But what I'm saying is, as of right now, is there anything that you can update us on? And I think we did something about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and you kind of put us on up to date on what's actually happening. And you even came and spoke to Marcus Garvey School, and you gave them a lot. A lot of them they're still talking about it, about some of the songs. They're starting to listen to, and I've even heard them say, I'm looking at the lyrics. What are they talking about? That was, even that discussion was never even talked about. Just to discussing the fact that we do need to look at the lyrics. Our youth were just, oh, that's a good song, bob their head.
I think that it's important. You talked about us getting together. One of the last things that you and I talked about was we're into the first quarter of this century, 25 years, and we can't take another 25 years of this mass media programming, this violent, vulgar programming on the masses of our people. We can't take another 25 years of it. That's one of the things we talked about. And just going back though, real quick, to when once enemies control one culture, you'll get what you get with the station like a WGCI, which is an iHeart station. And there was a survey that was done on them, and it shared that because they don't own these radio stations; they own the licenses, and they can have them for a certain period of time. So, and they can get, the FCC can renew their license or they can cancel it or whatever. And so, iHeart had the licenses for 7 stations in Chicago at one time. One was KISS FM. KISS was a station that targets young white children, white folks. KI KISS. GCI is one that targets young black. Do Better did a survey, and the survey showed that every time KISS got 1 sexual reference, GCI got 25. Every time KISS got 1 violent reference, GCI got 50. A 50-to-1 ratio of violence on a station that targets young Africans as compared to the station that targets young Europeans from the same company, same age group. Only difference was, again, these are the listeners, the target audience. So we're going to give the Africans all this violent, kill each other, pornographic music. And so, but if we control our own culture, we can not make that happen. And I say this, but we have a radio station right now, also in Chicago. I can't think of the call letters for it. That's ran by by Africans. That plays that crap too. But if we really controlled it, we wouldn't this is something in 2016 in Chicago. I'm using Chicago as an example because that's the metropolitan area where I dwell. But in 2016, there were 780 murders in Chicago. 11 people were getting shot every day. If 11 people were getting shot every day, 10 of them look like us. At least 10 of them look like us. And I remember, I never forget my father asking me, if they didn't play all this music, how many people you think would be getting shot? And I was like, Daddy, that's a good question. I'm not sure, but big city, a lot of issues, maybe 2 or 3. That's why I said 2 or 3 maybe. And we've had days like this where nobody's getting shot, or weeks where 1 or 2 people have gotten shot. But I'm telling you, this music pushes it. So, but here's what the Kill Black People radio station did. I said this was 2016. Of course, January 1st, 2017. Look at the front of the Sun Times newspaper, and it's just nothing but a collage, not a collage, or like just little pictures of the murder victims. Of course, they couldn't get 780 on there, but it was just murder victim, murder victim, murder victim. That was January 1st, 2017. By the end of January 2017, the iHeart radio station, the No Heart radio station, WGCI, I was listening to their top 10 at 8 o'clock. All right, 7, 8 o'clock, every time they do it. 5 of the top 10 songs had the statement in there, if Young Metro don't trust you. And you've been with me when we talk to the children about that and with the adults, and we ask that question when we present a lot of times, and we ask the children and the youth to be quiet, and we ask that question to the adults, if Young Metro don't trust you, and they look at me like I'm a damn fool. But then we say, children, youth, y'all can answer. And a lot of times they'll say in unison, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. If you don't trust somebody, you shoot them. So they had 5 out of top 10 songs that night, a month after we had 780 people murdered, 11 people shot every day, telling people, if you don't trust somebody, you shoot them. That's what happens when we don't control our culture. And I'm just gonna go right here. 2024, #1 album. What's that? 8 years later, 2024, or 7 years later. Number one album, We Don't Trust You, by guess who? Young Metro and the dude who sang the chorus, that tagline, Future, we call him No Future. That was the number one album. 7 years later, they still talking about if you don't trust somebody, shoot them. And they make it the number one album. Follow up from that album was another album called We Still Don't Trust You. Number one album. Out of that came the Kendrick Lamar feud with Drake and all that. And so they know what they're doing. It's just crazy. But if we controlled our own culture, these sort of things would happen. If we controlled our own culture, the baby, who was almost being played as much as Drake was at one point, the baby would have been canceled. He wouldn't have got canceled because he was at one of these minstrel fests, and they have these minstrel fests starting in the spring all around the country where they'll bring in a couple of days of artists and they'll come up there and put on minstrel shows. They're worse than minstrel shows because they're violent and vulgar, and they're worse than minstrel shows. But he was at one talking about running up on the end, squeezing, and he'll put 20K on your head and have your partners kill you. His daughter G, she saw him shoot the end at the age of 2 or 3, however old she was. But in between sets, he slipped up and said something about some LGBTQ people who were in the car in the parking lot doing some things to each other and talked about AIDS and all that. And so they heard that, and that dude got canceled. We rarely hear from the baby anymore. He got canceled for that, but shooting and killing black folks and disrespecting our women was okay. That was okay. But that's what happens when you don't control your culture, when your enemy, I should say, controls your culture. And it gets up to the point where we're at now in 2024, and it goes beyond the music, even though the music is connected. In 2024, it was 50 years after all this stuff's interesting that kind of keeps in Chicago, but 50 years after the debut of the Chicago-based sitcom Good Times. And 50 years later, April 2024, they come up with a cartoon animation, Good Times Black Again. And it was such an embarrassment, so horrible. And, we dealt with that. We addressed that. I mean, this thing was so horrible. They had a child writing her schoolwork in her menstrual blood. She throws the blood in the face of a classmate.
And brother, I don't want to stop you on that. I think why don't we finish up with the music industry? Because I think there was a couple people that you wanted to tap onto, and then why don't we go straight on into the Good Times reboot protests and all that stuff. I actually have some footage or something I can maybe pull up too of about maybe 5 minutes of what we've covered on that.
Okay, I will because there's one more piece.
So which one out of those two, the brother or the sister out of the NBA, Young Boy and Megan, which one you want to deal with first?
Well, that goes into this whole rap fatigue phenomenon that just recently came out because people were freaking out when about a month ago, Kendrick Lamar and SZA's song, Luther, dropped out of the top 40. And there was no rap song in the top 40 for the first time since the early 90s. And the next song was number 44, was a song called Shot Calling from NBA Youngboy. And so that's the one that you have. And even after that, so they got a song. So check out these lyrics from this horrible. And that was number 44. And so why do we want that to be in the top 40? If you all can see it, close your eyes before you look at it. He got nuts while I was down. Now I'm out, and that's his ass. You might catch him in the lobby. Bro gonna pop out with a mask. Tell him my daddy that I said this B too fast. Park that B. Inch can't act like that. They just see me and heard me just pull it up, and the MF and gone. So it's just about killing people. And it's you saw some of the other lyrics. It's vulgar. It starts off who he effing and dropping in bombs. It's just ridiculous. And that's number 44. And so we got to freak out because the pop chart said, no, y'all not in the top 40 no more right now because they're getting tired of it. And we're getting tired of it. If there's so much footage about this rap fatigue, and fatigue simply means that you're tired. And it just is so much of it. People are tired of the ignorance and what have you. And so here they go. They're going to put this song, Love a Girl, into the sheet. So it cracks, jumps right back into the top 40 with Love a Girl by Megan Thee Stallion. And when you look at this footage, you see when they talk about rap fatigue, this young sister saying, hey, you go with Klay Thompson now. Are you still giving us this crap? And I mean, you got the numbers up there show how it debuted in iTunes and all that, but it only spent 2 weeks in the Billboard Top 100. It's gone. It's out of the charts now. It's gone. They put it back in there and it's gone. And it's just a ridiculous song. Like my brother's saying, it's too graphic for this platform, but yet it's played on the radio for our children. But it's out of the top 100. So I think this rap fatigue, we need to jump on that and also, seize the time on that. We are doing we have a database where we're chronicling, getting the names of all these killed Black people radio stations throughout the country. As we mentioned earlier, No Heart Radio has at least 28 around the country, and there's so many others out there too who are still spewing this poison on the masses of our people. But they're going to be dealt with. We have to organize and mobilize and deal with them and get them out of our communities because it's still too much violence, too much crazy stuff happening. I was just in Baton Rouge, not in Baton Rouge, in New Orleans, down in Louisiana during the Bayou Classic weekend, and did get a chance. I didn't get a chance to go to the game, but I did watch some of the halftime show. And so we have Juvenile, whose biggest hit was Back That ASS Up. Being a featured performer for the Southern University Band. And then when you go to Grambling, their featured performer was Glorilla. And here's the sister, we've talked about her, like you said earlier on earlier shows, and you shared some of her music. And she is the featured artist for Grambling for their halftime show. Juvenile and Glorilla. Yeah.
Prestige College.
And yeah, so man, you've been with us on this good time piece. There's been some news. I talked to Dr. McIntosh a little earlier, and you and I have spoken about this too, about the work we've been doing, pushing back and demanding that people get rid of their Netflix and get this good times crap off the air. So man, you can give us an update on what's going on with that, brother Thabiti.
Okay, so what I was going to do is I was going to play. This is about 5 minutes. I can play what it's about. As far as what are we protesting, and then at the end of this is actually an update on what because what's happening right now is people are saying it's been canceled and all of that. Well, I'm gonna give you an update on that and tell you if that's really true. Okay, so let's go ahead and give an update on what's happened so far.
And these are your European culprits behind this madness. You got Norman Lear, the executive producer. Before he passed, he did sign off on this. And Seth MacFarlane is another executive producer. But they always need some of us to really pull something off if they really, really want to stick it to us. And so what stooges did they gather? Renata Shepard, executive producer, and some would say Stephen Fetchit Curry, executive producer. How can you sign off on this madness? And he wasn't the only one. You got a few of his friends that have worked on other projects with him, and that is Ian Edwards and also Eric Payton, who's actually, they actually share a production company together. Ian Edwards supposed to be the comedian. What comedy? How does he find any of this funny? I don't know. And Eric Payton is supposed to take Stephen Curry beyond basketball. And we got some other actors that have actually played certain roles. And so these actors and actresses are playing these various characters here, and you can see the pictures of who they're playing. But what's good about this though? Do you see the imagery here? Is this what we need, Steph, in our community? Is this what we need in our community right now? You see these images. One dressed in red, the other's dressed in pink. They switched up some colors there on you. This is what they're pushing. This is supposed to be good times. What's good about us shooting at each other? Taking each other out. This is good? This is good times? I don't never remember an episode that looked like this on Good Times. I don't recall that. This is good times? What's good about this? What's good about this? We should be outraged. We should be canceling our Netflix. And this guy right here says, man, it's feeling like good times. What's good about all of this? Hustling to survive. Got Michael, supposed to be a chief justice with dollar signs, hustling. Got him out here hustling with the older cats. Rolling dice. Our sisters. This is how they got our sisters looking. And then his sister's got some type of disease. I want to have all your baby. I want to have all your babies. Residents are advised to stay inside where there's no AC units because we don't have ACs in the black community, right? Alright? This is supposed to be funny. And this news reporter is so dangerous she has to do her news reporting underneath the van. Too much shooting. Really? Really? The one that plays James gets caught stealing. And they zap him. And then Chicago School District declares a gang day. So much violence they get to have the day off. Declare a gang day. Right? And then they go ahead and say, please, children, please shelter in place until further notice. But then she smiles and said, on the north side, schools are open as usual. Do we see this? James Amos was a fit brother. They got him heavy set eating chicken while he's driving. He couldn't even wait till he can get home and eat. He's got to be eating chicken, a bucket of chicken as he's driving. And the brother in the other cars got him chicken as well. Okay, Stephen Fetchit Curry, you signed off on this? And then they have a sister, please tell me. I've been shot, Ma. So we don't even know what a menstrual cycle is, right? In the black community. It's degrading. And Adam Silver put pressure on Kyrie Irving, having said he needs to step and Fetching Curry for putting this madness out. Look at this stuff. You fund everything. Yeah, chicken too. Really? This is supposed to be good times. And that's just clips from part 1. And part 2 doesn't get any better. Look at these images. Look at these images. This is supposed to be good times. Do we see this? This is what Stephen Curry is pushing. This is what Steph McFarlane is pushing. This is what Norman Lear signed off on. For us. Really? In 2025? Is this what we going for? This is the images that we going for. This is what's being pushed on our young people. This is what's being pushed to the next generation. Do we see this? Any other race would have shut Netflix down, or would have all boycotted Netflix and say, I'm not supporting you until you pull this stuff off.
All right. So that part I want to confirm. Now, first of all, updated as of just a few days ago, the question, there's a 5 questions that we actually asked when we heard that they were actually canceling the second season. First of all, has Netflix officially announced the cancellation? No. Netflix has made no public statement confirming cancellation. Multiple reputable entertainment sites report that the series will not return, describing the cancellation as quiet. So the social media has put that out there, and more than likely, that's kind of something that they put out there through the social media. Just from my perspective on that, the number two is season one still on Netflix? Well, yes, I did check, and yeah, it is still on Netflix. So all of the stuff that we just saw is still on there. So by them saying we cancel it, we're not doing a second season. We already knew that. We already knew they were going to do a second season, all the heat they were going to get. But we want that all taken down. That's pretty much the conclusion. But let me go through the rest of these. Number three, has Netflix announced plans to remove the first season? No, no, no. Catalog tracking sites or news outlet list the series as a schedule. Did not list it as a schedule for removal. So that's not, that's not going to happen. Now, the other two. Okay, number four. Why is there confusion? Well, it was reported that the NAACP was denied access to advanced screeners. I guess when they screen a particular series or movie, they always let particular community organizations, view it or whatever. If they have an opposition, they claim that they didn't get a chance to see it before that. And number five, what as far as a teacher standpoint, because I keep the teachers that where I work, on campus, I keep them educated on this matter because I've been studying it. And some of them are really, really happy and commending and saying, "Oh, isn't this great?" That they went on and canceled it. Now I can get my Netflix back. I can go ahead and go with Netflix again. I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "The what we're protesting against is still on there. They're just saying we're not going to do another one. They don't need to do another one. There's enough in those 10 episodes for character assassination." So that's just my position right now, is that we still need to boycott them. If we, that's what we just watched. That's crazy. And it almost seems like are you really seriously putting that out on Black people? And for I just no brainer. I don't understand how we can allow that to occur, and we don't have enough people fighting against it, which is really crazy. So
No, I'm with you on that, brother. And we found out pretty much back in May that they weren't going to renew it, and just the other day, like you just shared, like we've been sharing, like people have been giving us. I talked to Dr. McIntosh too, sharing with him and sending us messages of congratulations. And we'll take that in terms of at least them not doing the second season. However, we wanted, like you just shared, we want it off. That's deplorable what they continue to have available. We want it off. We need Steph Curry to apologize. We need the NBA, all of that.
Netflix, all of them. The apology is at the very end after all of that's taken down, and the apology is just that's for them, because it ain't for me. Because if it takes you this long to apologize, it ain't sincere anyway. But that's just something you're supposed to do, But so that's where we are right now. We're still boycotting Netflix because of this, and they need to take it down. Before we even consider any subscriptions with them. At this point, I may just boycott them like I did AT&T for 30 something years when they had an internal focus newspaper where they had they were, I guess, advertising their telephone service, and they had all these different countries. We had China, and you had a Chinese person on the phone talking or whatever. You was in Europe, you had a European on the phone, France, different parts and whatever. And when you got to Africa, you had a monkey on the telephone, and they claim it was an error or whatever have. So I mean, I boycotted them for many years.
And and that's the crazy part. It goes back to Glorilla. You name yourself,
Name
put
yourself
the name Glorilla,
or primate,
and you make it a Yeah, and they make you a star, bro. So they own us, man. But we gotta do, we gotta organize. CMOTAP, the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People, is not fooled by this. You're not fooled by this. Shout out Dr. McIntosh, Sister Betty, LeGrand, Andre, all of y'all, man, and Brother Mbili, all the warriors who out there continue to struggle. But just like Malcolm, just like Imam, just like Sister Asada, Sister Cleo, and all our warriors and freedom fighters, bro. We got a lot of work to do. And while we use this 100th anniversary to honor our brother, again, we honor our best way to honor our fallen soldiers is to pick up that weapon and continue that fight. So
Anyway, so you're gonna walk up that way.
All right, I'll walk on up. You gonna give me protection?
From what? You still be calling.
My brothers run by one, two by two, and I see you still. Oh yeah, now see, I'm sure my days will be long and my nights won't be few. Through the visions that's in me, I can see clearly where there is gonna be peace, love and harmony, black understanding among my people. Oh yes, among my people. They're gonna jump and shout, black liberation they are. Oh yes, we're gonna sing and shout, divide understanding they are. Oh yes, we're gonna.
More than ever, all family must be together. Every brother, everywhere, feels the time is in the air. Common blood flows through common veins, and the common eyes all see the same. Now, more than ever, all the family must be together.
Peace go with your brother. Though I ain't so proud anymore. Peace go with your brother. Recognition don't come cheap anymore. You my lawyer, you my doctor, yeah, but somehow you forgot about me. And now when I see you, all I can say is peace. Peace go with your brother. Don't seem to matter much now, just what I say. Peace go with your brother. You the kind of man who think he got to have his own way. You my father, you my uncle and my cousin and my son. But sometimes I wish you were none. But I manage to smile and I say, peace go with your brother. Peace go with your brother. Don't make no sense for us to be arguing now. Time is right up on us now, brothers. Don't make no sense for us to be arguing now. All of your children and all of my children are gonna have to pay for our mistakes someday. Yes, and until then, may peace guide your way. Yeah. Peace go with your brother. Wherever you go, peace go with your brother. Every brother, everywhere, feels the time is in the air. Common blood flows through common veins, and the common eyes all see the same. Now, more than ever, all the family must be together. Peace go with your brother. Though I ain't so proud anymore, peace go with your brother. Recognition don't come cheap anymore. You my lawyer, you my doctor, yeah, but somehow you forgot about me. And now when I see you, all I can say is peace. Peace go with your brother. Every brother, everywhere, feels the time is in the air. Common blood flows through common veins, and the common eyes all see the same. Now, more than ever, all the family must be together.